Hey there everybody. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to find angles using our trig functions. We did sides the other day. We found missing sides. Today we're going to find missing angles. So how can I use inverse trig to find an angle? Well, if I am given a right triangle, so it has to be a right triangle, and I know at least two side lengths. So it's going to look like we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So we have a right triangle, and we know two side lengths. We can find angles. And we're going to find those using our inverse trig. So how do I find the missing angles using inverse trig? Well, first, I'm going to label the sides of our right triangle in relationship to the given angle. So we're going to label hypotenuse, adjacent, opposite, in that order, please. So we're going to label our hypotenuse. We're going to label the adjacent side, and we're going to label the opposite side. Then we're going to choose our correct formula based on our side. So are we using sine? Are we using cosine? Are we using tangent? And then we're going to write the inverse trig function to find our missing angle. Now, inverse trig function, if you look right above your sine, cosine, and tangent key, the inverse trigs are going to be those ones that look like they're being raised to the -1 power. All right, so we're going to make our angle, theta means angle, we're going to use inverse sine is opposite over hypotenuse, inverse cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and inverse tangent is opposite over adjacent. And then we're just going to put them into our calculator, and the calculator will help us find our angle. Okay, so let's write the three inverse trig functions for angle A. All right, so here's my right triangle. Got a right triangle. Opposite of the right triangle is, of course, my hypotenuse. It said angle A. Angle A. We're going to draw our arc through angle A. That arc always hits hypotenuse and adjacent. And then the leftover sad little side right down here is my opposite side. Okay, so my three trig functions is to find angle A. The measure of angle A, or theta. Angle A is my theta because that's my unknown value. There's my theta. So the measure of angle A is going to be inverse sine. So that's how I'm going to write inverse sine. And then we are going to do opposite over hypotenuse. And if we hit this up with our opposite, so here's my opposite side, hypotenuse. There's my hypotenuse. So inverse sine is going to be the length of PG over the length of PA. Okay? Or I could find the measure of angle A by using inverse cosine. Okay, cosine says I am going to do adjacent. Here's my adjacent side over hypotenuse. There we go. Took a minute. So my adjacent side is AG long. It's the length of AG. And the hypotenuse is, again, PA or AP. And there's inverse tangent. So inverse tangent, like they show up here, is going to be opposite over adjacent. So my opposite side is PG long, and my adjacent side is AG long. All right, now I'm not going to be giving you three sides on a lot of these problems. I'm only going to give you two. So you're going to have to know which of my inverse trig functions to use. But that's how we use it. It's not a lot different than what we've been doing, just slightly different nomenclature. Okay, so if we're looking, let's write our three inverse trig functions for angle N. So we start with the hypotenuse, come out from the right angle. Here's my hypotenuse. We're talking angle N. Draw your arc through angle N. N is my theta. N is my unknown angle. This arc always hits hypotenuse and adjacent. And then the leftover side is opposite. So if we were to highlight my sides, here's hypotenuse, here's adjacent, there's opposite. Okay. I don't have the list in front of me anymore that I did on the previous page. So you know what? Let's remind ourselves. So, ka, toa. So that'll help us remember how to write our functions. Sorry, there we go. Let's get rid of that. Alrighty. So the measure of angle n. If we're using inverse sine, it's going to be the length of the opposite side. Length of the opposite side over the length of the hypotenuse. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. The measure of angle n can also be found with inverse cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So the length of the adjacent side is IN, and the length of the hypotenuse is WN. And we can also find the measure of angle n by using inverse tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that would be WI over IN. Boom. All right, and if your teacher decides to go over the bell work, there it is. So this is more along the lines of what it's going to look like. So I will be going over the bell work with you. Let's see if your teacher does as well. All right, so if you got any questions, Patriots, please speak up. Let us know. Love to help you out. And we'll see you when we see you.